Hey guys, what's up? Seven Stop here. Today we're going to be talking about why Elden Ring is the worst game of the year.
Oh yeah,
This is
Elden
an
Ring
awful game.
is a flaming piece of garbage, okay? If anyone tells you that it's a masterpiece, they're just wrong.
These gaming normies think they can come in and ruin games by producing this trash and putting it on the market. What a terrible...
Jeez, what a joke.
I can't do it.
Okay, no, we can't do it. So, today we're going to be making a video about Elden Ring. And if you know anything about us, we love Souls games.
Yeah.
And Elden Ring, obviously, being the newest one to come out, we both got it essentially on day one.
Yeah.
And played it a lot. I've basically finished it. I'm on the final boss. He goes pretty far.
Let's see, how many hours am I? I'm like 37 hours
37, I'm about 107 hours in, so...
Yeah,
we have a lot of time into the game.
We're not really speeding through it. Like, we're going through... We're going to try and do lots of... Like, try and do everything.
I've fought pretty much every single boss that you can. Obviously, I haven't beaten them all, but I fought pretty much every single boss that you can in one playthrough.
Yeah.
So...
And by the way, at the beginning, we'll just say this game is amazing.
We love the game.
We love the game.
It's fantastic.
But we wanted to make a negative video because everyone is talking about how much they love the game.
Yeah, so
we want to talk about the why there's issues with the games coming from perspective of a former Souls fan. But still,
well, not former.
There's former. Well, Souls this is like the new Souls. So
yeah, but still.
Whatever. But anyway, yeah, so we wanted to talk about some of the issues with this game from the perspective of a FromSoft fan. We've played like pretty much every FromSoft game except Demon's Souls.
Yeah, that's the only one that we haven't played.
But first off, we do really like the game.
Yeah,
it's just a fantastic game.
Yeah, let's just say we love the game. Obviously, like we said, we have tons of hours in the game. The number one thing that this game does is it's gonna introduce people to the Soul series in general.
Yeah,
because right now it's doing so well.
Up. This is gonna make FromSoft mainstream.
Oh yeah, the game blew up. Tons of people are loving it, which is fantastic. I'm so glad so many people are playing it. It launched with about 1 million players. Or close to, not launch, but its all-time peak on Steam exclusively was 1 million players. So I can only imagine.
So it's like 950,000 or something.
Yeah, so I can only imagine what it'll be on consoles. I'm pretty sure it's the number one most selling game.
You can actually get a console that can play.
Yeah,
it because it's so hard to get them.
But it's the number one selling game in the U.S. this year so far. So
yeah.
And
I'll be really surprised if a better game comes out this year.
Yeah, I have a feeling this will dominate most.
That's what I'll say.
Yeah, I have a feeling this will dominate most Game of the Year's list. It'll probably be my Game of the Year, as there really isn't too much I'm excited for, but.
But yeah, and it just in general, like this game has so much content.
Oh, it has so much.
This is just the prime example of how to release a complete game.
Yeah,
and
that's
also
not
there's
super
very
buggy.
few bugs except for the frame rate issue, and
exclusive to PC.
Yeah, that's exclusive to PC, and it's just an all around great game, and there's I think we as gamers have kind of accepted that games release without content and then they get fixed later. But this is just a message to the AAA industry that no, you can still make good games that are complete at launch.
And single player, because like this game is doing really well. Like Battlefield 2042 has less players than the other Battlefield games. And obviously way less players than Elden Ring.
Yeah.
And Elden Ring is a single-player game.
Yeah.
And EA is the one who said, oh, single-player games are dead, blah, blah, blah. Fallen Order also did really well, but that's a different video. So yeah, let's just first off say that, yes, we love the game. We think it's fantastic. It's definitely up there. We definitely like it more than Dark Souls 2 and Dark Souls and Bloodborne. Maybe Sekiro. I don't know. We'll make a full review once we've both completed it and done it. But anyway, just know that we actually really, really, really love the game, and we're just criticizing it for now just because we... think it's getting a little bit... I don't think it's unfairly getting praise, but I think it's good to criticize it a little bit.
Yeah, instead of just heaping endless praise and never talking about the issues.
Yeah, exactly. So, let's get into that. So, the first issue, quote-unquote again, is the open world. So, they said this game was going to be open world, which was a red flag to a few people, and to us, we were also like, ooh, yikes, because... we're not huge open world fans.
Yeah, and there's a lot of really bad open world games.
Yeah.
Like, that's just... that. And also, there's so many games that are becoming open world, like Halo Infinite did the same thing. And it's kind of like, I want to see something original here.
Yeah, every single game is trying to be open world now. And, like Donkey mentioned in one of his videos that there's, like, been like 4 or 5 open world games this year already with like Dying Light 2, Horizon Forbidden West, and a few others I'm probably forgetting.
Yeah.
So there's already so many open world games that this game comes out, and yeah, we think it's definitely the best version of the open world.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that's still not saying too much.
Like Red Dead Redemption 2 is also good.
Yeah.
I think this is better, like in terms of how much stuff it actually has in the open world.
Yeah.
Like there's just so much stuff.
There is a lot of stuff. It is pretty populated. Now, there will be a few times where you are running around on the horse and there's not much. But even then,
it definitely has way more content than your average open world game, and but it does have those issues of open world games where you have to like ride your horse around a lot to actually find anything, and depends on the area. Some areas are more condensed and some are less. But in some of the bigger areas, you will ride around a while and not find anything.
Yeah, and also the pacing and progression can be kind of thrown off by this because you could go to an area that you're way under leveled for, beat it, and then bam, you're over leveled for like the next 30 hours of the game.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what I did.
Yeah, and if you explore like everything, then you're probably also going to get over leveled.
Yeah, because I think this is a major issue because it affects the difficulty of the game. Because I've been really like detailed with my exploration, going all over the place, trying to find everything, and I'm kind of steamrolling the main game. Like I fought what's the name of that?
Renala, Queen of the Moon.
Yeah, I beat her in like 3 tries. Even though she does a ton of damage, I also do a ton of damage.
Yeah.
Because I'm so over leveled.
Now, this could be a two-edged sword for some people because on the positive, it's like, yeah, you could progress the game at any rate you want, and it allows you to become as over-leveled you want, which is good for some people, but also negative for others because, let's say, again, you want to explore everything, yet you still want a challenge. That's just kind of really impossible for this game, unless you personally inflict, like, oh, instead of, I'm just going to use a soul level 1. Yeah, I'm going to use a soul level 1 sword or soul level 1, a level 1 sword or something like that.
And I generally don't want to do that. I like the other Souls games because you can like try really hard to level up and do everything and get a great weapon, and you'll still have a hard time because it was balanced with that in mind. Like even if you use a really good weapon and you level up as much as possible as you can at that moment, you'll still have a hard time.
Yeah.
Because it was really well paced and thought out exactly how the players can approach each encounter, how hard it would be at their current position in the game, etc.
Yeah, exactly. It always felt like a very curated, purposeful experience in the other Souls games because they were more linear. Another thing is the level design. It's hard to say it kind of took a hit because, to be honest, like in a lot of the sections, there are some really great moments of level design, like in one of the sections in this volcano manor. There's a really great element of level design, but the open world level design is not necessarily anything that I'm like really wowed by.
Yeah, like of course there's these enclosed areas like the castles and stuff they have level design, but on the whole, level design is kind of gone from the game because in an open world there isn't really a lot of level design. Like obviously there's these little areas and stuff that have design, but it's not nearly to the same extent that the other Souls games had.
Yeah, again, I progressed further, so I can say that it does get a little bit better later on.
Okay.
But for now, obviously, in the early part of the game,
oh
it
yeah.
kind of feels
Also, apparently it gets harder later on.
Yeah, it does. It definitely does.
But where I am, it just kind of feels like I'm steamrolling everything in the game.
Yeah. So, what else do we have that we don't necessarily like? See,
I mean, the bosses.
Tough.
The bosses.
Okay, yeah, the bosses. So, the bosses, let's just clarify this. The bosses definitely aren't bad. They're just, so far, even I, who've like beaten the game practically, have only found a few bosses that truly rival the Dark Souls 3 bosses.
Yeah. Dark Souls 3 had really amazing boss quality, and this game, I guess that might be setting a really high standard because that's like the peak of bosses in games.
Yeah, pretty much.
But it still kind of feels like a step down. Because in Dark Souls 3, even early bosses were really engaging. But in this game, most of the bosses are pretty forgettable, to be honest.
Yeah, same with me. But again, we gotta clarify.
Yeah.
The bosses are still decent, and again, the later ones are a lot better. And
And
also,
the main game bosses are much better in general.
yeah, the main game bosses are much better, and also they're better than Dark Souls 2 and Bloodborne bosses for sure.
Yeah.
Well, again, I don't think there's as high highs as some of the Bloodborne ones, but there's definitely no low lows like Bloodborne. Holy cow!
Yeah.
Check out our video on Bloodborne to get enraged, but
yeah, go leave your hate comments.
Go
on
leave your hate
Bloodborne
comments
video.
on Bloodborne. Besides that, what else do we have?
I'd say the enemies aren't that fun to fight. Like they're not bad. They're not, but they don't really strike me as being that amazing either. Like the regular enemies.
Yeah, to me, I always felt like the Dark Souls enemies in Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, and Bloodborne, and pretty much all of them. Besides Sekiro, I honestly think Sekiro had kind of lackluster
Bloodborne has
enemies.
bad enemies.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about like in terms including Sekiro. I think that there's way less moves that the enemies can use. Like the enemies have way smaller movesets in Elden Ring, in my opinion. Just because, well, of course, there's so many. But I always felt like in Dark Souls 3, there were so many different like combos and moves that they could do. Whereas in this game, I always felt like, okay, yeah, there's like 5 or 6 like direct combos.
Yeah.
Now, I personally actually found them kind of fun to fight, but I don't know.
I think they're fun to fight, but they just don't strike me as particularly enjoyable, I guess.
Yeah.
And there's also quite a few annoying enemies, which is something that I was hoping was going to be gone.
Mm-hmm.
Like those little goblin guys in the dungeons.
Oh, geez,
I hate them.
They're so
The dogs.
dogs.
I hate the dogs. These are
dogs.
the worst dogs in FromSoft, in my opinion, because I'm using heavy weapons, so I can't use that counter thing with the shield.
Yeah, it's always a little bit more difficult when you're using heavier weapons.
Yeah. And there's like these flying enemies too, like those stupid eagles and birds
bats.
and bats, and I don't really like those either, to be honest.
Yeah. What else do we have? Well, I guess we could say that the multiplayer is definitely better, but there are some moments of like, okay, what the heck? Like sometimes you'll just randomly disconnect.
Yeah. Like, and in my opinion, FromSoft should just implement a normal like multiplayer system or some easier way for just your average player to figure out how to do it, because people who are coming into this game and they don't have experience with FromSoft games, don't know how the heck to summon their friends. They're like, why is this so complicated? What are all these items? And I just don't really like that. And also, there's weird connectivity issues. Like, me and Sam were playing, and he just got randomly disconnected.
And my internet's pretty good.
And every time he gets disconnected, we have to use items that are expendable to like bring him back. So that can be really frustrating.
Yeah, and also like we said, I have good internet. Like I'm not like, oh yeah, I'm over here. I'm sitting in like negative something internet.
Negative 10 megabytes.
Yeah, negative 10 megabytes or something like that. I have pretty good internet, and it's still disconnecting me really randomly. And again, it uses an item, so it's kind of weird. What else? I really can't think of too much else, but maybe.
I don't know. I mean, it's a really good game.
It's a really good game. Another positive that we could say is that corpse runs are pretty much gone.
This is a really good thing. Is that corpse runs are pretty much they're like totally dead.
They're like totally gone.
The only corpse run was this one boss I beat recently. What's her name?
Renala, Queen of the Moon, or whatever.
She had a little corpse run.
But that's like the longest corpse run you'll find.
And compared to the other Souls games, it's not even close.
Yeah, and also visually, this game is fantastic. Just not only in terms of graphics, but just in style as well. This game has a fantastic style. I'm really glad they've split away from Dark Souls so they could start an entirely new world and style.
Yeah,
it feels a lot more inspired than Dark Souls 3 and Dark Souls 2, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's all we have to say. We just wanted to give our little bit of criticism because again, before we get absolutely murdered by everyone, we do actually really love the game. So calm down.
It's a fantastic
calm down. We just use clickbait because we want to get you to actually think a little bit about how, maybe this game isn't necessarily the perfect 10 out of 10 masterpiece that everyone says, but it's still really, really, really good.
Yeah. Well, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed.
Bye, guys.